In this video, we're going to talk about a couple of piano techniques. The first one is essentially what to do when you've got a melody line changing and the chord stays the same. In other words, if you've got a chord that sticks around for a couple of bars, especially in a ballad situation, and you don't really know what to do with that, you're stuck with melody and playing one chord, it's kind of not that interesting. So we're going to talk about how to deal with that. And the other thing is we're going to talk about an ostinato pattern in the left hand and the right hand playing over top of that. And we're going to do this in the context of a tune called Lush Life. This is the second tutorial on Lush Life. It's a tune by Billy Strayhorn. He wrote it for the Duke Ellington Orchestra. And it's such a lovely composition. I think you should make it part of your repertoire. But when you're dealing with a song like this, again, in another video, we tackled some block chord movements, but in this one, we're going to deal with a chord that lasts for a couple of bars, but the melody's changing. And we're also going to deal with this ostinato pattern. I'm going to play the tune for you first. Try to listen for those things. And when we come back, I'm going to discuss the techniques and how to handle them. All right, let me play the tune for you now. Okay, so I hope you heard those different things that I was discussing before we started. If you didn't, we're specifically talking about this section right here, where the F chord lasts for 3 entire bars, and then there's a 2/5 at the end. But the melody's changing, so what you don't want to do is things like this. It's just kind of boring to stick around that F minor chord for the entire time. So what I like to do, and I've talked about this before in other videos, where I surround the chord with the melody in both hands. So in other words, think about the melody played by both hands. Okay? So then what you do is you play both and then play the chord in between them. And then I basically play grace notes in the left hand to bridge the melody. It's a cool sound. And then when I get here to the F minor chord, I'm playing in fourths. And we have videos on how to do this, but basically take the melody note, go down a third, and then go in fourths for the rest of it. So here's the third, then fourths. That's that so what sound. In fact, I have a video on my channel that talks about this in the context of the tune So What. All we're doing is just changing the keys. So when you got that melody note, follow it around in fourths. Really cool. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about just quickly in this video was the ostinato pattern, and that begins right here, where I'm going like this. Now, I actually didn't make this up. I got it from an album called Expressions by Chick Corea, where he does this in the left hand. And I thought it was so cool. It was a neat idea to not only play and learn, but to share with you. So you've got 1, 5, and then 9, down to 6. So I would recommend that you at least try that. I think the reason for it is it's just an interesting thing to do. You're probably not used to it, but it would really be impressive if you played this at your next gig or for your friends or whatever, where you got this. Again, you can do anything you want on the right hand, including chords. And chords with force, right? So you've got the third, the 6th, and the 9th. Now, I totally get that soloing over top of that is left brain, right brain kind of thing. But you'll probably also notice that I don't always play it perfectly in the left hand. Sometimes it skips a note or just skips a beat or whatever, but it stays in time, which is really important. Now, again, if you totally analyze that left hand, it's not doing this consistently. But it is staying in time. So that's the most important thing when you're playing an ostinato pattern, is just to keep the time going and not worry so much about the notes that you're playing and making sure that they're all evenly spaced. Okay, so I hope that helps. There's a couple of different concepts for you to take into your next ballad, or even learning the tune Lush Life. You can certainly find it in the real book, and I hope you have a lot of fun with it. If you have any questions or comments about it, you want to drill down on another area and you like a concept that I'm doing, just post it in the comments below and I'll be sure to make a video about that. Thank you so much for your time.